Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Rachel and I'm an elementary music teacher in East Tennessee. So today's video is going to be a little bit different than what we normally do. We're going to be doing a lesson plan with me. So I'm going to walk you through how I decorate my planner, my paper planner, and then how I structure it to do my lessons and how I decide what I'm going to do for my lessons and the activities that we're going to do. Now, this is going to be a plan with me for the first week of school, so it's going to be a little bit different than normal. But I'm going to walk you through all of the steps that I use for my paper planner. Now, I do use digital plans as well. My digital stuff is like year-long, like scope and sequence kind of thing. But then my paper planner is like week-to-week stuff. So this is the planner that I use. What I love about the Happy Planner is the disc system. And so I can like punch things and add them in. And it's very customizable, not like a spiral bound where it's just all stuck in there. So the Happy Planner that I'm using is a teacher layout, and it's because Happy Planner has a ton of different layouts. This one is the teacher one. So you'll see in the first part of the video, you'll see where I cover up the dates on the side of the planner. That's because since I'm a music teacher, I teach like my kindergartners, every class that I see that week, all the kindergartners do the same thing. All the first graders do the same thing. So it's not like Monday I'm doing a certain thing, Tuesday I'm doing a different thing. So I cover up the dates on the side and then I put the grade levels across the top. So it's different than like a classroom teacher might use this planner, but it really works for me. So let's go ahead and get into the video. So as you can see, I've pulled these pages out that we're going to start on. And I'm going to start by putting some boxes at the top. This is where I will label the grade levels, and you'll see that here in just a second. And then I'm going to, as I said before, cover up these dates over here because I don't use the planner that way. So I'm just going to put some like decorative stickers over there. And then I'm going to just lay down some fun like summery stickers because I know it's the first week of school, but it's still summer. And you'll see in just a second how I set this up. Okay, so now that we've got our stickers down, let me just give you a brief overview of how I normally use this planner. Now, since this is the first week of school, this is going to look a lot different than my regular plans because, as you know, the first week of school is a lot of rules and procedures, going over things. Normally this, like every single box in here is filled completely up. I think I have an example. Let me show you. At least what it, yeah. See, usually it looks like this, just completely filled to the brim. But since this is the first week of school, I added a few more stickers, a little more decor that I normally don't do, just because I'm not going to have as much stuff going on that first week of school. Hopefully that makes sense. So normally how I set this up is across the top are all of the grade levels. So I teach pre-K through 5th grade, so that's 7 grade levels a week. So the reason that I did not put stickers here is because the very first week of school, we don't have pre-K or kindergarten. They do half days the first week. And since their related arts time is in the afternoon, we don't see them. So that's why I put a little more stuff over here. I'm going to kind of try to use this as a list of things I need to get done just for this week. But normally there will be a box at the top. So I'm going to go ahead and write in my grade levels here. Okay, so now we've got that. So I am working with a new lesson structure this year. I say new, it's not brand new, it's just kind of tweaking how I think about it and how I want to lay it out in my lesson planner. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over that really quickly and show you kind of how I am structuring the different parts of my lesson. Then I'll go and write in my actual plans for that first week. Like I said, it's going to be kind of light because of all the, first week back to school things that we have to do. But after I write it all in, I will go over it and I'll show you some of the activities that we're going to do. So the new structure that I'm planning on doing this year is a warm-up. This is something that I've always wanted to do. Now this warm-up could be lots of different things. It could be singing a welcome song, which is things that we do with my little kids. For the older ones, it could be like a rhythm review or like a you know, a bell ringer type activity, any sort of warm up, but I'm only going to spend around 5 minutes on that. Then we'll go into the new concept or main part of the lesson. If you've been following me for a while, you know that I do mini lessons. So this part of my lesson is only about 10 minutes where we do anything new or like the bulk of just me teaching whole group. Then I'm going to put some sort of little break, transition, movement, something in there. My little kids are a big fan of like Go Noodle, Cuckoo Kangaroo, things like that. So I always throw a couple of those in there for them. For the big kids, it could just be a, you know, like a quick game of Poison Rhythms or something like that. Just something to transition them to the next activity. Then the biggest chunk of my lesson is going to be 20 to 25 minutes, and that's our independent work. And I'm a big proponent of student-directed learning, which means that the kids are responsible for what they're doing. They're responsible for the activity, for the main part of the lesson. So that is a huge, huge chunk, 20 to 25 minutes. My classes are only about 50 minutes. So this is half or sometimes more of the lesson, that independent work. And then I'll do another transition, movement, something like that. And then we'll all come back for that last 5 minutes and do kind of a closing or exit ticket, assessment, something like that, just to kind of wrap up the lesson so they, you know, I can kind of get a gauge on, did they grasp that concept that I was trying to teach them? So that's pretty much how I'm going to set up my planner this year and how I'm going to set up my lessons. Oh yeah, something I didn't mention is normally for this first box up top, what I'll do is I'll put, and you'll see me do this in a second when I write, but I put just like the concept that we're doing. So like steady beat or, you know, dynamics or whatever it is up at the top. And then I'll put the standard or the I can statement. I wanted to make sure I said that because that's probably not gonna, I'm probably not gonna have an I can statement for this first week of school, because it's gonna be, can we remember how to get into the music room and things like that. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna speed up where I'm writing and like actually planning, and then I'll go back and fill you in on some of the stuff that I wrote down. So like I said, since this is the first week of school, it's going to be slightly different and you're not really going to see exactly that lesson structure that we talked about. I am just planning some review activities that I'll explain in just a second. And odds are we won't get through all of this, but starting that second week of school is when I'll really start to implement that structure that we just talked about. Okay, so as I said before, it's pretty empty. But again, this is not a normal week. That first week of school is more just about, you know, rules and procedures. We're going to go over my flexible seating expectations again because last year, because of the pandemic, we were not allowed to use flexible seating. So it's been a full year since they've done this. And like my first graders, they've never used it before because they were in kindergarten last year. So this I'll spend a pretty good chunk of time on. And then the things that I chose for the rest of the day are, you know, things that are kind of review and just to get them back in the swing of things and how we do things. Odds are we will not get to all of this, and that's okay because, like I said, it's just review. So for first and second grade, and again, normally I don't do the entire, like the same thing with every grade level like this, but it's just what we're going to have time for, and it's kind of a review. So first and second grade, we use the Quaver curriculum, and so a lot of this stuff that you'll see is what I'm pulling from. So there's a steady beat animated song that they are obsessed with. So I'll start with that because they'll get up and dance and do that. Then I'll use my drum and kind of switch back and forth between beat and no beat and have the kids march when there's a beat, and when there's no beat, they have to freeze. This is a game we've played a zillion times, so they'll love that, and we'll get them up and moving. Then we'll watch, probably not the entire beat episode on Quaver because it's like 10 minutes, so we'll probably just do like that middle section just to kind of get that beat versus no beat idea back in their head. And then there's a little game called Train the Brain, which they love, and we've not done with the beat yet. And then as kind of a wrap up, I'll let them play rhythm sticks, similar to what we were doing as the movement exercise here, but instead of marching when there's a beat, they'll have to play their rhythm sticks and match my beat. So it's a little bit of an extension on this activity. Like I said, we're not going to get to all this, but that's okay, because next week we'll be starting into like real meaty material. So 3rd through 5th grade, again, this is not how this normally goes, but just for this first week, that's what we're going to do. So again, rules and procedures, flexible seating expectations. I learned about this game from a fellow music teacher in my district, and I'll share more about it sometime. I'll maybe do a blog post on it or something like that. But this is a game that I think my kids are going to be obsessed with. She calls it Pass the Beat Around the Room. So the kids stand in this huge circle in the classroom, and they say the words, pass the beat around the room. And each kid says a different word, right? This kid says pass. This kid says the. So you go around and around and around. Well, then, you know, the object of the game, obviously, is to keep the steady beat. Okay? Which I don't know about your older kids, but sometimes my older kids struggle with that, even with as much as we do in the younger grades. So then what we do is say we'll take out the word room, and instead of room, you have to stomp, right? So then it goes pass the beat around the stomp. And then you keep going, right? And what she normally does is pass the beat around the room, and then after a room, there's a rest, and then the next person starts again. So if you miss your word, if you rest on the wrong time, if you don't stomp when you're supposed to, or whatever, then you're out. So you sit out of the circle, and it goes again, right? So the goal is to be the last person standing. So each time, until somebody gets out, we change something. So we've got pass the beat around the stomp, right? So now we'll do pass the clap around the stomp, right? So you just work your way down to where you get the last person standing. And of course, my older kids will do anything to do competition. So they're going to be obsessed with this game. So then again, I'm going to pull out Quaver. They're going to watch the meter episode. My big kids have seen this one. So again, we'll just do like a middle portion of this just to kind of remind them and do that train the brain. 3rd grade has not seen this, so this is going to be an introduction for them, because starting next week is when we'll be talking about that. Then we'll play this little game. This is a product in my store, and I'll make sure to link it below, but Meter Madness. There's a relay race that we do, and they have to like I say, a meter, and they have to go find a card that has the correct, like it has 3-4 in it or whatever, and they bring it back. We've played this for a really long time before, but we're just going to do it for a few minutes. And then if there's time at the end, we'll do some compositions just with erasers or some sort of manipulative. Again, I'm not going to get to all this, but this will be a good start for that first week. And then again, I'll use this just as to-dos and stuff like that, just to make sure I fill it up. So I did leave this blank up here just in case I wanted to go back in and write I cans. You know, if we do get to quite a bit of this and we're ready to move on to next steps the next week, then I'll be ready to do that. But just know that in the future, when you see this, it's going to be a whole lot more filled up than this. So if you guys enjoyed this, make sure to give it a like. If you have not subscribed yet, then click that little button, subscribe. If you want to see more of these Playing With Me's, let me know, because this is something that I do anyway. So, you know, filming it and making sure that you guys are able to see it too is an easy thing for me. So if you're liking these, let me know, and I'll make sure to plan some more. So thank you guys again for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.